Hello and blessings, beautiful souls. Avalon here, and today I would like to go through 13 oracle decks that I consider to be extremely beautiful and very effective for beginners and creatives and meditative people, for people who want to expand on their spiritual practice, for people who want to engage with oracle in a deeper, more meaningful facet. And so this is a selection of oracle decks that are totally suited to the beginner and the intermediate and the advanced alike. I just think that each and every one of these are beautiful in their own right, they are functional in their own right, and they definitely deserve to be celebrated for the joy and the gem that they are. Now, I have tried to choose decks here that are of various different styles, various different tastes, and have various different functions, at least to me. In keeping with that, I'm going to jump right in and show you the 13 decks that I have put aside for you for this occasion. Let's have a bit of fun with this, remembering that Oracle is a free-form system, highly intuitive. It is a great segue into tarot if you are not already familiar with tarot, and it is one of those beautiful pictorial style stimulants as far as cartomancy goes, and it is a functional way to really tap into your intuitive faculties, to get connected with journaling, and to just do all the yummy things that a good card practice can bring to your life. Let's get started. In no particular order, I'm first going to show you the Earthly Souls and Spirit Oracle by Terri Foss. Now, Terri Foss is an artist on Instagram, and that is when I first discovered this deck. And this is a very, very witchy type of deck. So for those of you who enjoy the pagan arts, the beautiful facet of witchcraft that a great artist can depict, and you know, just a lovely and delicious selection of keywords. Now, the way that I have found to utilize this deck is not so much in sort of divinatory practices, and even though you can do a beautiful oracle reading with this particular deck, what I have found to be of particular value is that I like to draw a card from this particular deck at the start of my week and use it as a theme. And so I journal with it, I use it as an empowering witchy sort of theme. It brings a little bit of magic to my Mondays, and it helps me to better integrate power phrases into my week to week. And when you're working with power phrases like this that are selected, it's sort of random, you know, through beautiful art and, you know, an oracle deck like this, then you have this opportunity to work with that visual theme as well. So you have the artistry that is associated to the card, you have the word, you have the feeling that it entices, and you have that theme going for you for a whole week. And sometimes your week can get a bit flat halfway through. It can start off a bit flat, it can end a bit flat. Either way, you've got this beautiful phrase, this beautiful keyword to sort of anchor into. It creates a deeper mindfulness practice, if you'd like to call it that, an awareness to really turn your attention to that key phrase, to journal, to create, to do beautiful things in alignment with your theme, even if you get a little bit, like, you know, funky throughout the week. And so this is an absolutely beautiful deck for that. And if you like this deck, then you will definitely like the artist's Instagram page, and I highly, highly recommend you go check it out, because she's always pumping out such amazing things. And they are gorgeous makers and creators and worthy of support. So that is the Earthly Souls and Spirits Oracle by Terri Foss. I should mention also that the Earthly Souls and Spirit Oracle does not come with a guidebook. So it is what you get. You get the deck, you get the beautiful artwork, you get the key phrases, but no guidebook. So keep that in mind if that's something that really bothers you. But like I said, if you're utilizing it in the way that I'm suggesting, you'll have no problem with it whatsoever. So the next deck that I would like to show you is the Winged Enchantment Oracle, and Lisa Hunt did the artwork for the Winged Enchantment Oracle. That's the backing. This is the front. And I've got to say, this is a really, really beautiful deck. Lisa Hunt has her own unique style of art. This really, really edges into like bird medicine and feather medicine and air medicine. And so it can be quite thought-provoking and, you know, just really, really lovely thought-provoking messages. Now, I drew a card from the Winged Enchantment just before I went to Brazil a few years back now, and I can't tell you how absolutely nourishing, how comforting the message was, and it's something that stayed with me as I traveled, and I really felt the medicine of that card while I was traveling. I felt the medicine of that card while I was there, and I've got to tell you, it left a huge impression on me because of that. I found it to be very healing, very soothing, very inspiring, very thought-provoking, like I've already said twice before, and just visually beautiful to look at. And so you don't get the key phrases with this particular deck, you will get the actual bird. So you will get owl. And then you do have a guidebook in order to utilize to match messages there in that way. So you do get a little bit more of a cohesive system there with a guidebook. A simple, very simple, humble guidebook, but effective, and a beautiful deck. And it's a gorgeous size, and it's a great deck for meditation. It's a great deck to just put out there as altar art or spiritual meditative art. And something that I would highly recommend, especially if you're really into birds, if you're into winged creatures, and if you're into working with the element of air, and you just love yourself some of that light, airy bird medicine, then you will really, really love this particular deck. The next deck that I'm going to show you is the Earthbound Oracle by Skull Garden, and this is a tiny oracle. That's the backing of it. It's Lenormand size, so it's small. There's the palm of my hand. It fits pretty muchly there. Great for me who has tiny little baby hands. Now, this deck does not come with a guidebook, and this is the companion, so to speak, or the sister deck to the Wooden Tarot, which is another deck created by Skull Garden, and it's absolutely beautiful. The artwork is simple, clean, and very, very evocative. It has a keyword, and that's all you get. You get this beautiful image, then you get the keyword. And believe it or not, this is a fantastic deck to accompany any tarot reading. Honestly, it blows that shit wide open, and it creates a depth of meaning. It creates, you know, thoughtful avenues in which to pursue as a deck to stimulate creativity, especially as far as written work goes. So if you're a journaler or a writer or a poet, you may find that this deck is incredibly, incredibly stimulating to you. As a divination deck, amazing. And as a deck for deep meditation, for journey work, amazing. I cannot say enough nice things about this deck. This is an all-rounder as far as I'm concerned. It's a hell of a beautiful deck, very high quality. It does not come with a guidebook, but you don't really need a guidebook when you've got this very clear type of imagery and you have a pretty succinct keyword to go with it. And so I absolutely love the Earthbound Oracle. I use it quite a bit. I use it in association with tarot. I find that it's an incredible tool to use alongside a tarot reading, and quite frankly, it just brings everything together, and it creates a sense of depth and wholeness that I really appreciate as a professional reader, and I'm sure my clients really appreciate it as well. So that is the Earthbound Oracle by Skull Garden. Next is the Oracle of Echoes by Anna Tourian. This is the beautiful backing, and this particular Oracle deck is the most well-balanced Oracle I have ever had the pleasure of working with. It has light themes, it has dark themes. It's quite abstract. It has a plethora of colors. It has a plethora of emotive depictions to really cling to. You can do a full reading with this deck alone. You don't need tarot. It doesn't need to be a second layer. You can lay some cards out and get some very, very insightful, very deep, very meaningful readings from this particular deck. I cannot emphasize this enough. It is absolutely, without a doubt, one of my absolute favorite oracle decks for a plethora of reasons. And I will say that this particular oracle deck is one that if you utilize it for spiritual development, if you utilize it for healing work, if you use it for shadow work, if you utilize it for enticing the muse, you will not be disappointed at what this deck can produce as far as results that are transformational. It's an incredibly powerful deck. It is incredibly thoughtfully put together. One thing that I absolutely love about this deck as well is it was created by Tourian, who is a very, very prominent artist and has that edge of spirituality that she weaves into all of her artwork. And also, when this deck was in the process of being made and conceptualized, she reached out to the community and she asked for some ideas, and so many community members contributed to the ideas that you will find in this particular deck, and she picked the best ones, I do believe, and put it into this deck and created such a well-balanced all-rounder type of oracle deck. So absolutely beautiful deck. The next deck that I'm going to show you is the Animal Spirit Oracle by the Wild Unknown. And so this is the companion deck to the Wild Unknown Tarot. Similar artwork, very shamanistic in its way, and by that I mean it is very anchored into the natural world of animal, and there is a beautiful, beautiful imagery and theme that flows throughout this entire deck. It's the beautiful line work that everyone fell in love with the Wild Unknown, and it is incredibly elemental. So you don't get a guidebook, but you get a whole sheet, and I don't have my sheet with me, my sheet is somewhere else, but you get this entire sheet. I have a dragon egg on the back of it, I do believe, and all of the animals are broken up into elemental suits, so you get earth, air, fire, water and spirit, and you get the keywords associated with each and every one of the animals that you will see in here, and you get the elemental glyph that's up to the top there. You have a lovely border. The cardstock is absolutely beautiful. The backing is beautiful. It's iridescent. You can't see it, but it's iridescent, and it's got that lovely scale theme going on. So that is the Animal Spirit Oracle. If you enjoy working with animals in your practice, if you enjoy the medicine of animals, if you enjoy interacting with the primal part of nature, that is at least how I like to put it, because I look to animals as being these primal, powerful creatures that remind us to rewild. If you're that type of way as well, then you'll probably get quite a bit out of this. And what I like to do is I like to draw a card from this, meditate on the animal, see if that animal appears in any form of synchronistic event that follows, and try to tap into the medicine of that animal. This then enables me to sort of broaden my understanding of creatures of the wild and interact with my natural world in a different way to that which I might usually interact with. And it's just such a beautifully put together deck, and you can use it in association with a tarot reading as an overcast. For instance, this particular animal is sort of watching over, or this particular animal is presenting the problem. It could be the shadow in the event, or this particular animal is the healing force that you're going to need to tap into. And so you can utilize it in alongside a tarot reading in a very therapeutic way and tie it all together really beautifully and create such a beautiful synergy for yourself or for a client. So absolutely beautiful reading. The next oracle deck that I would like to show you is one that was created by the creator of the Bonefire Tarot, Miss Gabby Angus-West. Now, she created the Wyrd of Sarah Howard Oracle, and it was in a very limited number. It came with this beautiful bag. I do believe a couple of months ago it was out of stock, out of print. I'm not sure if she'll be making any more. It's worth checking. I'll leave the link in the description box below. But this follows the same theme as the Bonefire Tarot. Now, the Bonefire Tarot is one of my top 10 favorite tarot decks of all time, and is a deck that took me by surprise. I remember thinking to myself when I first saw this artwork that it wasn't really for me, but it wouldn't leave me alone. It actually made its way into my subconscious, and it drove me insane until I actually got the deck, and it turned out to be the best decision ever to get that particular deck because I have used it so much. It is such an all-rounder. And the deck, the Oracle deck, it does not disappoint either. It's got such an interesting theme. You have the beautiful artwork in keeping with the Bonfire Tarot art, which is like this vintage tattoo art kind of feel, bursting with color, bursting with emotion, and you have the keyword in which to utilize. And so you'll see beautiful themes come up throughout this deck, and when you're using it either for a full reading for yourself or as a supplement to add a different layer or another layer to a tarot reading, then you will not be disappointed. This is a really beautiful deck. It adds a pop of color to whatever, you know, reading you've got going on. It gets you thinking. The color I find is really, really evocative, and you know, one of the things that I absolutely love about the deck itself is that it's got a little bit of Australia in there. It's got a little beachiness, it's got a little yumminess, it's got a little colour, it's got a little, you know, festivity, and it really does sort of give honour and thanks to the beach life here in Australia, and it's just a lovely, lovely deck. Now I know that Gabby is an Australian artist and she is located on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, I believe, so around that Foster-Tuncurry area there. Beautiful part of the world, very beachy, lots of surf, lots of sunshine, beautiful weather, and she's drawn a lot from that particular region and created this beautiful tarot deck, or this beautiful oracle deck I should say, that really fits the theme of her tarot in a beautiful way. So they could be used side by side, or you can use this particular oracle deck all on its own because it is a standalone jewel. The next deck that I would like to show you is the Messenger Oracle by Sandra Kuntz, and this is Sandra. This is the guidebook. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. This deck is stunning. It's just, oh, it's so beautiful. I originally found this particular deck through, I believe it was Almoon, and when I looked at it, I was in love. I was absolutely in love. It has another strong animal theme, so you know, if you really do enjoy working with animals, you'll like this. But aside from that, it has just this very, very natural, deep, authentic shadowed aspect to it. And if you are doing any kind of shadow work, if you're doing any kind of healing work, then laying these cards out and allowing your mind to journey with them, to do a little path working, to jump in the card, to navigate the cards, oh, it makes for some hella powerful journeys, some really powerful meditations. If you want to use some of these images, some of these messages as enticement to create ritual or craft spells, magic, and things of the sort, then you will not be disappointed. You can absolutely do this. And it's very, very effective in that way as well. As a standalone deck, it is a beautiful reader. You can do a full intuitive, a full empowered, a full healing type of reading with this particular oracle deck, and it is one of those decks that just the imagery stays with you. And so I have done readings with clients with this particular deck. They've gone off and then months later they've come back for another reading telling me how the imagery in this particular deck stayed with them, how evocative they found the imagery and how healing. So that it's such a striking, a visually striking deck to really work with, and once you start working with the deck you find yourself getting drawn into this beautiful world. It is such a trigger for fantastic journaling, for deep, powerful, poetic journaling, and it is one for deep meditations and path workings and journeys like I've already said. So an absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful oracle deck. Highly recommend it. The next deck that I would like to show you is the Sacred Rebels Oracle, and this is by Alana Fairchild. Now Alana is a powerhouse as far as creating beautiful oracle decks go, and the artwork for this one is by Autumn Sky Morrison, and it's beautiful. Look at that. I mean, come on. Absolutely beautiful empowerment deck, especially if you like working with themes that delve or revolve around the sacred feminine. Definitely suitable for men and women alike, especially if a man is seeking to explore his sacred feminine side and rewild it. And it is one for, you know, for deep work. It's one for deeply powerful healing work. As an accompaniment to a tarot deck, absolutely beautiful, but it's going going to bring that healing in towards the end. So it's going to have a little edge, it's going to have a little lens to it. It's not going to surprise you with this all-out divine sacred inspiration. It's going to give you a little bit of healing. It's going to give you a little something to look at, and sometimes that can feel a little bit uncomfortable. But if you are bold and you look at it, you're going to find that what happens after is that things begin to open up and energies begin to free and cleansings occur and healing happens in a very beautiful, beautiful way. So as a meditation deck, this is beautiful. Obviously the artwork is really powerful. I have utilized this oracle deck with my husband, and he didn't mind any of the imagery, and I know that that's been a criticism for a lot of men that I have shown this deck to, and they're like, oh, I don't really connect with the all-female imagery. My husband didn't have a problem with it because the reading was bang on, because the card that he drew, the essence of that card was spot on, and you know, that's what it all boils down to, is the accuracy in a way, but also the depth of meaning that one can pull from a particular card and the resonance that can occur within that moment. It's a really, really powerful, beautiful thing when you work with an oracle deck or work with a tarot deck or work with any deck really, and you pull a card and it is a direct reflection of what you are going through. There is this just moment of synergy and this moment of recognition and this moment of sacred divinity that occurs. So really, really beautiful. The next oracle deck that I would like to show you is the Wisdom Keepers Oracle, and it is by Rosy Aronson. And this particular deck comes in two forms, black and white and colored. This is the colored version. I have the black and white version also. Both are incredibly beautiful, and you know, there's no difference between them aside from the color factor alone. So the guidebooks are the same. Now, I absolutely love this particular oracle deck for ancestral work, for healing ancestral wounds. The type of story that is attached to each of these cards is heart-wrenching. Like, it will make you cry. You will weep tears with this particular deck. It is so deeply moving. It is so beautifully healing. It is so activating. It's so triggering. And so this is a very, very healing type of deck. And its theme is one of, you know, of powerful exploration, of self-exploration. So for a shadow work deck, this is absolutely beautiful. For an ancestral deck, this is absolutely beautiful. For a spirit-led type of reading, this is absolutely beautiful. For a journal prompting, for personal development and deep soulful excavation, it's a really, 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 really good deck. And the stories, like, you will lose yourself with these stories. They are so powerful, they are so emotive, they will bring you to tears, and you will have a lot to say. Once that happens, it just brings up all this muck, and that might not sound like a good thing, but it is a good thing, because when you start to clear out some of that muck, then the good stuff starts to happen. It's called healing, and this is why oracle decks can be absolutely beautiful and wonderful catalysts for healing work. While we are talking about healing, this is the next deck, and this is the Heal Yourself reading cards by Inna Segal. This is a Rockpool deck. I've got to say that I had an aversion to this deck. Yes, I did. I had an aversion to this deck. I didn't like the title of it. I don't really gravitate to things that are like heal yourself. You know, that's not really my cup of tea. But I was in a mood the day that I purchased this particular oracle deck, and I've got to say I'm so glad that I was in that mood, because without me being in that mood, I would not have stumbled upon this absolute gem. This is the backing of it. The imagery is absolutely stunning. Absolutely beautiful imagery. Yes, it lacks diversity. This has been a criticism of this particular deck, but I believe that most oracle decks, they do lack an element of diversity, and it is what it is. And if we want to change that, then we need to be prepared to make our own oracle decks to sort of fill that void. But with this said, this deck, it does not disappoint. It is incredibly, incredibly healing. As the title states, it is incredibly, incredibly healing. And each card comes with a powerful key phrase. It comes with a just evocative, beautifully evocative imagery. And look at that, look, isn't that beautiful? And then the guidebook itself is really straightforward, which is something that I really like. So you get, for instance here, you get the card in color, and then you get the story of the card, and then you get the action. So this is the healing process. So these are tasks for you to complete, things for you to do, meditations for you to undergo, journeys for you to focus on, things of that nature. And it's very succinct and it's very straightforward, and that's what I like about it. So I've had a hell of a good time with this particular deck, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that's interested in that particular theme, and just in a really beautiful oracle deck that sort of does what it's supposed to do. The next deck that I would like to show you is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley. This particular deck, there's a bit of thunder going on, I should just say this. We've got an afternoon storm. Here's the backing. This particular deck is one that I have loved for the longest time. I remember when I first purchased this particular deck, I've never been disappointed. It's one of my top 10 favorite oracle decks without fail, and I just love it for that use in autumn. I love it for journaling. I love it for, you know, adding extra dimension to readings, for clarification, for ancestral readings, for not so much ancestral, but what is it called, past life readings, and just for, you know, journal prompting and, you know, and meditation if you're really into the imagery. Such a beautiful story of construction behind this particular deck. It was made out of vintage postcards, and there's a collagey thing that went on. Victoria Mosley did an absolutely beautiful job on this particular deck, quite frankly, and I am absolutely chuffed with this particular deck. Absolutely beautiful. You want to do a full out reading with this deck? You can, and you will not be disappointed. You want to do a supplementary reading, use it alongside tarot, use it alongside soul cards, use it alongside Lenormand if you want to. Hell, it's a very versatile deck. I absolutely love it. The cardstock's beautiful. The theme that runs through is absolutely stunning, and it's a highly recommended all-rounder type of oracle deck. So if you're interested in just picking up oracle for the first time, if oracle is something that you've been always attracted to but didn't really know which kind of deck, then I would highly recommend the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, or even the, well, many of the ones that I've mentioned, but the Sacred Rebels is another really popular one. So very good stuff. The next deck that I'm going to show you is the Awakened Soul Oracle, made by my beautiful friend Ethony here on YouTube. So if you don't know of Ethony's channel, then I highly recommend you check it out. The Awakened Soul Oracle was a Kickstarter, and Ethony did an absolutely beautiful job on this. It's got beautiful silver gilding, nice big cards, like, oh, it's big, size of my hand, kind of big. Danielle Mulligan, who is a fellow artist on, no, I don't think she's on YouTube, she's on Instagram, but you know, just a tarot loving artist, expressionist kind of individual, and she did the artwork for this particular deck. It's got such modern themes, it's very colourful, it's evocative, it's got great keywords, it's got a beautifully written guidebook. For a first oracle deck, absolutely beautiful. You cannot go wrong with this deck. It is a great deck for just an all-out authentic reading, and so I just dropped a whole bunch of cards. And so if you're wanting to exercise your skills with oracle, this is a beautiful way to get started. The deck is high quality. You will find this really beautiful, diverse arrangement of imagery, some great keywords, boundaries, for instance. That's a good one. Many people need to work on boundaries, and unplug. And so it has these modern keywords that you can really apply to everyday life, and that's one of the things that I really like about this particular deck, is that it's contemporary and it taps into the modern flow. You know, unplug is one that I need to do more often, and I need to be reminded of more often, and many other people do as well. So you need only look around you and see how many people are staring at their phones and really engaged in technology and things like that. So this is an absolutely beautiful deck, and this one's a first edition. It's 50 cards. I just realized that I haven't actually been telling you the number of cards or who published specific decks, but I will leave all the information for these cards in the description box below. So if you are wanting further details about them, especially like card count, etc., and publisher, places to go to find them, then, you know, I'll leave that in the description box below. But that is the Awakened Soul Oracle by Ethony. The next deck that I'm going to show you is one that I freaking love. Look at the book that comes with this. Look at the book. it's like, it's sizable. It's got a lot. It's got a lot. It's the Sacred Creator Oracle by Chris Ann Donnelly. This is how the deck sits in its box here. I love this deck. I love it. It is a fantastic empowerment deck. Now it's non-pictorial, so it does have art. Can you hear that thunder? Oh, it's so good. It does have art, but it's very subtle art. It's beautifully gilded and just a very high quality deck. And what you get is these power phrases and these, you know, power thoughts written down on each and every card. And so you pull one, you know, in the morning, and it sets the tone for the day, and you can really work with that particular theme throughout the day. You can journal with it. You can, you know, you can read tarot alongside it. You can, you know, you can really theme your day and your moods. It can really help to shape your moods. Now, one of the other things that I love about it is when I've done a full reading and I might open with soul cards like I usually do a full tarot reading, pull out some oracle cards to the end, I will then draw one of these because it's a definitive closer. You know, it gives you an empowerment phrase, something to focus on, a power word, a power theme, something to sort of, you know, run with and really ignite the creativity. The entire focus of this deck is to bring out the sacred creator in you. So it is absolutely geared towards those who really want to activate their creative center. And of course, creativity is a very liberal word. It doesn't mean art. It doesn't mean, you know, art alone, I should say. It doesn't just mean one thing. It's everything, you know. And if you're the type of person who furniture makes, if you're a seamstress, if you're a, you know, an artist in some way, and or a person who genuinely likes to create, who likes to bake, who likes to, you know, upcycle things, and, you know, there's an element of medicine in here for you, and an element of, you know, understanding and a means of empowering that creative center of yours even further. Chris Ann Donnelly is a force to be reckoned with. She is an amazing woman and one of those people that just goes out of her way to reach out to you and to help you. She has been incredibly helpful to me as I journey to make my first tarot deck. And I've got to say, many other people have. Ethony has, Benabel Wen has, like many beautiful people have done this for me. But Chris Ann Donnelly and this particular deck was an absolute inspiration to me. And you know, I learned a lot about power phrases and how to journal with power phrases and how to create mantras out of this particular deck. And I've got to say, very, very healing, very, very activating, incredibly beautiful to really hammer in a final saying on a reading. It's something to journal. You want journal prompts? You've got all the journal prompts in the world, and she will actually go through journaling in her book with you here and how to get the absolute most out of this particular deck. I cannot recommend this deck enough. It's absolutely beautiful. It is one of those decks that I believe is an absolute crown jewel of my collection because it is so different to all of my other decks and it serves such an important function. So any deck that gets you journaling, that gets you into a creative mindset is a powerful deck in my opinion, because many people these days are disconnected from their creativity, and I think that that's a terrible shame. So if you struggle with your creative center, if you struggle to meditate, if you struggle to journal, if you struggle to do these sorts of things and you feel like your creative center is a little bit stifled, try this deck. You will not be disappointed. And last but by no means least is the Connected and Free Alchemist Oracle. Holy doolies, this was a popular deck, a really, really popular deck, and one that I can understand the popularity of. It is beautiful. You've got a bit of chakra, you've got a bit of sacred geometry, you've got some hella good artwork. Look at that card. Look at it. I mean, the artwork in this is stunning, and I remember when it came out how, you know, excited people were, and, you know, it's within good reason. This is the companion oracle deck to the Lumina Tarot, and it's created by Inna Segal. So it's Australian made in that way. It's Australian created, you could say, and it is an absolutely beautiful deck. To supplement a reading, bang on. To bring in an extra theme, something to think about, to solidify something, absolutely bang on. To meditate with, to create with, to, you know, to journey with, to explore the deeper facets of yourself even further. Absolutely phenomenal. One of my absolute favorite oracle decks, I must say, and one that brings such a soulful edge to it. So there is a wide range of beautiful words in here, beautiful key phrases to explore, things to focus on, things to meditate on, and that is one thing that I absolutely loved. There is just it's just a beautiful deck. It's a really beautiful, visually pleasing, dynamic, exciting, well crafted, you know, just a beautiful, beautiful deck. And it's one that I absolutely love to use in a reading with a client alongside a tarot reading, and it's one that I think I rocked throughout all of my New Year readings from 2017 to 2018. Oh, my clients would have seen a lot of these, like a lot of this deck. Like just loved it, absolutely loved it. Beautiful, beautiful empowerment deck. And I've got to say that connected and free aspect of it, it really does help to free up some of the imaginative quality and that exponential potential that people have inside, but they stifle through responsibility and overburdening themselves with common, everyday, mundane tasks, which are important. I'm not saying that they're not, but it's just a really nice, like, decalcifying deck in that way. So that is the Connected and Free Alchemist Oracle. So there you have it, beautiful souls. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this selection of decks. I have done a top 10 Oracle decks for beginner video below. I'll link that in the description box below. I did this many, many years ago, and I tried not to repeat any of the decks that I featured in that old video in this video, and I think I've achieved that. Fingers crossed I have achieved that. Many of these decks are new to me within the last year, if not the last 18 months, and I've got to say that I'm really impressed with this selection, and I would highly recommend this selection to anyone who is really interested in journeying with Oracle in a meaningful way. I hope I've been able to give you a wide selection of decks to explore, and, you know, some beautiful ideas of decks that you might not have ever seen before. And if you have seen them and you have worked with some of these decks, I would love to know your opinion. What is it which deck did you love the most, and, you know, which deck really screams out to you at this moment in time? I love to hear that kind of share, because it is a little bit about divulging the medicine, and, you know, you never know what's calling to you. Like I said, I grabbed that Heal Yourself Oracle deck. I'd walked past this on a shelf for ages, months and months and months, and when I finally got to it, I was so glad that I did. And so there are things that call to us at different times of our life, and depending on where we are in our life path. And I think it's really beautiful to be able to say, oh, that one's really calling to me at the moment, because there is a little something in that, you know what I mean? It's a recognition of a medicine that's waiting for you to tap into. So with all of that said and done, I'm wishing you so much love, luck, peace and joy. Again, I'll be linking all the information for each of these decks in the description box below, and please like and share this video if you have enjoyed it, but only if you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Much love, many blessings. Mwah. Take care of yourselves.